The solubility of a substance in water depends upon several factors. Therefore, all substances are not equally soluble in water. The salts like sodium chloride, potassium chloride, silver nitrate, etc., dissolve to a large extent in water. On the other hand, there are several substances whose solubility in water is so small that they are termed as insoluble or sparingly soluble substances. Some examples of sparingly soluble substances are silver chloride, barium sulfate, lead chloride, silver bromide, zinc sulfide, etc. When a sparingly soluble salt is dissolved in water, only a very small part of it dissolves and dissociates into ions. In a saturated solution of such a salt, the ions formed remain in equilibrium with the undissolved salt. The equilibrium is dynamic and rate of dissolution of ions from the solid is equal to the rate of precipitation of ions from saturated solution. My dear students, I think today what we are going to discuss, you might have understood. Today's topic of discussion is solubility of sparingly soluble salts and their equilibrium. So, good day to all of you. Good morning to all of you. I welcome you all for today's session on discussion on dynamic equilibrium or ionic equilibrium of sparingly soluble salts. First, let us understand what is meant by soluble and insoluble. Soluble means what? The substance will dissolve in a liquid. Here, I am not specifying which liquid. That liquid is a solvent, okay? And the substance is what? Solute. So, the substance will dissolve in a liquid that comes under what? Soluble substance. Whereas, the substance will not dissolve in a liquid and formed precipitate. They come under the insoluble. They remain like this, or they come out of the solution and they occur, they form, they appear as a solid, that is called precipitate. So what is meant by solubility? Solubility is defined as the amount of a given substance that can be dissolved in a certain amount of solvent. Okay. Here, two important points are the amount of a given substance and in a certain amount of solvent. Okay. So that means we have to fix amount of solvent, whether amount of solvent is 1 liter or 1 kilogram. So first you fix it. Okay. After fixing the amount of a solvent, in that amount of solvent, you take A chemical, B chemical, C chemical. So which chemical is more soluble? Its solubility is more. Okay. So that's why the definition for solubility is what? Solubility is defined as the amount of a given substance that can be dissolved in a certain amount of solvent. Okay. So it is a soluble substance and it is an insoluble substance. Normally we fix certain amount of solvent is what? 100 gram. Okay. So in 100 gram of a solvent, how much solute dissolves? That is its solubility straight away. That too at that particular temperature or normal temperature or room temperature. Because as you increase the temperature, solubility increases. Therefore, here you have to specify that amount of a solute or a amount of a substance that dissolves in a known amount of a solvent at that particular temperature is called solubility of that substance in that solvent. Okay, very good. Now again, for a particular substance to dissolve in a particular solvent, there are certain factors. Among the many factors, the two important factors are lattice enthalpy and solvation enthalpy. So already we understood in our previous discussions and the previous chapters these two enthalpies. Lattice enthalpy is the amount of energy required to make 1 mole of a substance or to break 1 mole of a substance. What is solution enthalpy? Solution enthalpy is what? It is the amount of energy required when 1 mole of a substance in the form of ion dissolves in a particular solvent. That is called solution enthalpy. So it is 1 mole. Earlier, first what we will take? We will take 1 mole of a substance which is solid. That will convert into what? 1 mole of ions. Okay, and that 1 mole of ions will become water dissolved in the known amount of a solvent. That is called enthalpy of solution. That means both are equally important. If lattice enthalpy is more than the solution enthalpy, then very difficult to dissolve, because first for any chemical to dissolve, the ions which are there in the lattice, they should be separated. When they are not ready to separate, then there is no question of solubility arises. Therefore, first and the foremost requirement is what? Ions should separate from the lattice structure. Okay, then they should be made to soluble in the solvent. That's why lattice enthalpy should not be more than the solution enthalpy. Okay, again, solution enthalpy depends upon what? Nature of the solvent. So there are some solvent, for example, in benzene, certain chemicals are soluble. In water, certain chemicals are soluble. Okay, but water is called as what? Universal solvent. That is, we learned in the previous session or previous classes. Okay, right. So the two important factors are lattice enthalpy and the solution enthalpy. So for a particular substance to dissolve, solution enthalpy should be far more than lattice enthalpy, so that it can overcome the lattice. That means it is lattice enthalpy. So lattice enthalpy breaks and those ions are soluble and amount is given out. Normally, solution enthalpy is negative because energy is given out when they dissolve in a particular solvent. Okay. So once again, I'm repeating, enthalpy of a solution or solution enthalpy should be more than lattice enthalpy of that particular substance. Then only we can expect its solubility in a particular solvent. Otherwise, no. Formation of solution depends on intermolecular forces. For example, if the intermolecular forces in a particular substance so strong, then it is very difficult to soluble in a particular solvent. Okay. That's why here, what I wrote here, when the separated solute and solvent are mixed to make a solution, solute molecules are attracted to solvent molecules, energy released. Solvent molecules are attracted to solute molecules, that time also energy is released. So if there is a net release of energy, the solution will form. For this, solution enthalpy should be far more than the lattice enthalpy. Once again, I am repeating. So depend upon the lattice enthalpy and the solution enthalpy, we have made three categories: substances which are soluble, one category; substances which are slightly soluble, that is category second; and substances sparingly soluble or insoluble, that is what? Category number three. One example: how to say that it is soluble? Its solubility should be more than 0.1 m molarity. Let us say one example here. Oxalic acid. Okay, COOH twice 2H2O is the molecular formula of oxalic acid. Okay, now its molecular mass is what? 128 grams. Right. Okay. Now, if you dissolve 128 grams of oxalic acid in 1 liter of its solution, that becomes 1 molarity or 1 m. Okay. Now, if I want to make 0.1 m, how much I have to dissolve in the 1 liter of its solution? I have to dissolve 12.8. So 12.8 grams of oxalic acid, if I dissolve in 1 liter of its solution, that becomes 0.1 m. Okay. That means 0.1 m is what? Taking the example of oxalic acid, if 12.8 gram is soluble, minimum, that much minimum, more than 12.8 grams of oxalic acid, if it is soluble, okay, in the 1000 or 1 liter of its solution, that is called soluble. It is solubility. Okay, they come under what? Soluble. Now, by chance, if the solubility is between 0.1 and 0.01 m, that means what? What is 0.1? It is 12.8 in 1 liter. What is 0.001 m? It is 1.28. If if the amount of oxalic acid is lies between 1.28 and 12.8 in its 1 liter of solution, that comes under the slightly soluble, because in 1000 ml hardly 1.28 grams soluble. So it is called what? Slightly soluble. Now if its solubility is less than 0.01, means what? If oxalic acid's amount is less than 1.28 gram in its 1000 ml of solution, then it is taken as what? Very less soluble, or sparingly soluble, or it is taken as what? Insoluble. So depend upon what? This category. So we classify substances into soluble, slightly soluble, sparingly soluble. Very good. Now, see, in this chapter, we are learning what? Chemical equilibrium and the ionic equilibrium. That means about the equilibrium we are learning. Okay. So, normally, equilibrium is what? Equilibrium sets when what? Electrolyte is weak. Why? Because strong electrolyte dissociates completely, no? So, when, for example, NaCl dissociates completely into Na plus and Cl minus n, there is equilibrium. Okay, so equilibrium is there where small amount of a substance dissociates into ions. Again, ion will become the substance. So that is called equilibrium. So equilibrium is there only for the weak electrolyte. In the same way, here also equilibrium is there for the sparingly soluble. If a chemical is completely soluble, it dissolves, solution forms, then there is no question of again equilibrium. So out of 1 mole, for example, I am saying, if some trace mole of that particular chemical is soluble, and after soluble it dissociates, then when it dissociates to its constituent ions, that time the whatever equilibrium is there, no, between the small amount of dissociated that chemical and the what ions, that is called ionic equilibrium. So that means one more important point is what? We should go for the saturated solution. For example, a particular chemical you take, right? Then you add a pinch of that, it dissolves. Second pinch dissolves. Third pinch dissolves. So go on adding pinch by pinch. A time will come where one a particular pinch will take more time to dissolve. Afterwards, if you add a next pinch, that next pinch will remain insoluble. So that is called what? That is called saturated stage of that solution. Okay. If you see at the microscopic level or at the molecular level, we see that dissociated ions will become the chemical becoming the ions. So that there is a dynamic equilibrium between what? Uh, sparingly soluble salts. Okay. That's why what is the important point here? Important point is what? Chemical equilibrium or the ionic equilibrium exist are the sets where the salt is sparingly soluble, not for the completely soluble and not for the insoluble. Only for the sparingly soluble, whatever how much is soluble, that will dissociate and equilibrium sets. Okay, right. Now, solubility and solubility product. What relation is there? A salt dissolves in the aqueous medium, and at a point the dissolution stops. I told you, at a particular pinch dissolution stops, and the salt and the ions will be in equilibrium. This stage is called as what? Saturation. That solution is called what? Saturated solution. For example, AgCl, a small amount dissolves, and that dissociation to what? Ag plus ion and the Cl minus ion in the aqueous solution, aqueous medium, at a saturation point. That means first you have to prepare the saturated solution of the sparingly soluble salt in a particular solvent. That time this equilibrium sets. Okay. Now, when the equilibrium is there, let us write the equilibrium expression, equilibrium constant. So we using our previous knowledge. So therefore, K equal to what? Concentration of the product by the concentration of the reactant. Remember, only small amount of AgCl has undergone the solubility and dissociated. So maximum amount is still solid is there. That means concentration of this is not changed. Therefore, when K equal to concentration of the silver, iron, and the chloride ion by AgCl, their concentration of AgCl is taken as unity. Okay, it did not change. Therefore, what is K then? K equal to, it is only the product of what? Concentration of the silver ion and the chloride ion. That one. Okay, and this special equilibrium constant is called what? KSP. What is SP here? Solubility product. That means these two are soluble in a particular solvent, and this product is called what? Solubility product. And this K is called what? Equilibrium constant for sparingly soluble salt. Therefore, this KSP is what known as what? Solubility product constant, or simply solubility product of what? AgCl. Okay. Now, if the KSP is small, means what? KSP is small. If you want KSP smaller, this answer should be smaller. Means what? It is less soluble. That means lesser the value of KSP, less is soluble. More the value of KSP, more is soluble. So depend upon the KSP value, you can conclude that whether the particular substance is more soluble, less soluble. Okay, right. And if two compounds have the same ion ratio, the one with the larger KSP will have the higher molar solubility. That means here it is AgCl. If one more is there, AgBr, AgI, they are having same ion ratio, no, 1:1 ratio. AgCl 1:1, AgBr 1:1, AgI 1:1. But which is more soluble? That time, if the ratio is the same, that time what he says, the one with larger KSP. Among these AgCl, AgBr, AgI, whose KSP is more? Again, that depends upon what? The larger size of the anion. Please recall the Fajans rule. When the anion size is larger, that it will develop the covalent character. When it develops the covalent character, it is less soluble in the water and it is more soluble in the other organic solvent. That time again KSP value differs. Okay. So depend upon the KSP value in a particular solvent, we can tell whether it is soluble or insoluble. Very good. One more example here. This is also sparingly soluble. Okay, but dissociates into constituent ions. And if you write the equilibrium expression, K equal to what? Concentration of the Ba ion and the sulfate ion. That is nothing but what? KSP, which is known as what? Solubility product of barium sulfate. Now, normally solubility is in what unit it is expressed? See, what is solubility? It is a solute in the solvent. What is the unit of solute? In the gram. Solvent in the liter. Therefore, the unit of water. The unit of solubility is what? Grams per liter. Okay. Or now grams per liter is the very old. Nowadays we normally what use which word? Mole. 1 mole is soluble in this much 1 liter of its solution. Okay, so what we were using nowadays, we are using mole is the most appropriate word. Therefore, moles per liter of its solution is the correct. Both are correct. Among the two, that is grams per liter and moles per liter. Today, what we are using? We use moles per liter. Okay. So that is called what? That is called molar solubility. So the mole, one particular mole is soluble in a 1 liter of its solution. That is called molar solubility. Okay, let us see the definition. Solubility is the amount of solute that will dissolve in a given amount of solution at a particular temperature, which is most important. And the molar solubility is the number of moles of solute that will dissolve in a liter of solution. Okay, the molarity of the dissolved solution in a saturated solution. That means what? How many moles of a particular solute is soluble in its 1 liter of its solution? Okay, whether in 1 liter of its solution 0.5 is soluble or 0.52 is soluble moles or 1.25 moles soluble, that we don't know, that we have to calculate. So how many moles of a particular substance is soluble in 1 liter of its solution? That is called molar solubility. Okay, let us take one more example of barium sulfate with the data. Okay, barium sulfate this much. Okay, now how many moles are dissociated? Some moles, it is sparingly soluble. No, let us take S mole or X mole or S mole. Okay, now when how it dissociated? It is 1 mole of barium ion and 1 mole of sulfate ion. That means how much moles of barium sulfate dissociates into ions? Same moles are formed here. So X moles are dissociated into X moles of this ion, X moles of this ion, or in place of X we can take S also. What is S here? S is the symbol for molar solubility. So then what is the KSP? This is the formula we know already. So what is the answer for this one? 1.1, it is data given. That means the solubility product of barium sulfate is what? 1.1 into 10 to the power minus 10 by taking their concentration. This is done experimentally. Okay, right. Now see, for the zirconium phosphate, formula is what? Zr3PO4 4 times. Dissociates into 3 Zr ion and 4 PO4 ions, phosphate ions. Okay. What is the solubility? So 3 moles of this ion. So 3 moles solubility. Molar solubility 3s, 4 moles 4s, molar solubility. So what is the KSP? KSP is what? Concentration of the this into concentration of the this one raised to stoichiometry. Physical A into A plus B into B equal to C into D, C into C plus D into D, that I told in the previous section. In the same way, it is a zirconium ion to the power 3 and phosphate ion to the power 4. These 3 4 indicates those many moles. Okay. Right. So it is 3s, 3 moles of zirconium and 4 moles, okay, to the power 3 3, right? The charge also is taken care. So when you 3 to the power 3 and 4 to the power 4, if you multiply, you will get what? 6912 into S3 S4 becomes S7. Therefore what is S7 equal to? S7 equal to KSP by 6912. And what is S equal to? Molar solubility of zirconium phosphate is equal to KSP by 6912 by 1 by 7, or 7th root of this. If you know the KSP value from the table, we can calculate the molar solubility of the zirconium phosphate. So all this knowledge we do in the calculations of the numericals. Okay, right. Now, there is a relation between the common ion effect and solubility. This already we discussed, but still as a small recap. See, for example, when NaCl dissociates into Na plus ion and Cl minus ion, if to this solution, if you add such a chemical where ion is common, if you add such a chemical which is sodium nitrate, for example, okay, sodium nitrate contains sodium ion. Already sodium chloride is dissociated into sodium and the chloride ion to this solution, and it is a, let's take this in equilibrium. That time, if you add sodium nitrate, sodium ions are becoming more. So according to Leach-Atlas principle way, what happens here? On the product side, sodium ions are more because they are common ion, no? Sodium ion from the sodium chloride and sodium ion from the sodium nitrate you added. So because of the more number of sodium ion, the equilibrium shift towards the left side. Means what? So ions are becoming the solid now. It is suppressing the solubility. Sodium chloride want to dissolve, but due to the common ion, so solubility is decreasing, suppressing, reducing. This is called what? This is called effect of common ion on the solubility. This knowledge we use even in the salt analysis also, and even in the soap preparation also. In the soap preparation, whenever we go for the what oils and the fats, when we treat with sodium hydroxide, we get the soap which floats on the surface. To that solution, when you add sodium chloride, okay, so sodium chloride contains sodium ion, and the soap also is sodium salt. In the sodium is a common ion. The time solubility of the soap decreases. That means what? Soap comes out more and more on the surface, that is filtered, taken out and sold in the market. So that means common ion effect and solubility knowledge we use in the industry also. That is the what? The common ion effect and the solubility equilibria. Okay, right. I am extremely thankful for the entire 11th class for this academic year, for being with me this complete academic year. We have done a small bit in discussing the syllabus of 11th class, but still any clarification if you require, you are most welcome. So I think we have winded our syllabus for the academic year 2020 and 2021. Okay, so in our next classes, we are going to discuss only the numerical part of the different chapters. Okay, my dear students, remember this is not the end. This is the beginning. Okay, so what he says, every story has an end, but in life, every end is a new beginning. Don't say that it's the end of the syllabus, end for this now, but it is the beginning for next assignment. Okay, right. So I wish you a very happy new year 2021. Cheers to health, happiness, and prosperity in 2021 to all my dear students of 11th class. Okay, right. So see you soon. Let us see what best can be done from our side. Okay, till then, stay humble, stay focused, and stay blessed. Thank you and all, my dear students.